Conventional farming often treats soil as a static medium rather than a living system. Continuous tilling and chemical reliance strips away the Earth's natural infrastructure, leaving the ground physically incapable of supporting life. Efforts to reverse this damage are often framed through a specific lens: regenerative agriculture. This term is frequently associated with massive cattle operations or bison herds grazing across thousands of acres of open range. That focus on massive scale leaves many growers behind. If you're managing an urban garden, a small homestead, or a half-acre market plot, the logistical requirements of a 1,000-acre ranch seem impossible to replicate. However, the biological processes required to repair the land occur at a microscopic level. The transition from dead dirt to living soil happens in the narrow space surrounding a single plant root. Regenerating the land is a process of managing the biological engine directly beneath our feet. Success depends on how we interact with the invisible workforce that drives every ecosystem on Earth. This root system represents a complex underground economy powered by photosynthesis. The plant pumps carbon-based exudates into the soil, sugary cocktails that feed bacteria and fungi. In return, microbes produce enzymes that break down minerals, converting nutrients into soluble forms for the plant. This exchange requires specific conditions, which leads to the first principle: keep the soil covered. Mulch and residues protect the moisture microbes need to move. Without water, they cannot transport the enzymes that unlock the soil's fertility. The second principle is diversity. Different plant species release unique exudate profiles, which cultivate a wider variety of microbial life. A diverse garden builds a resilient underground community. The third principle is to minimize disturbance. Mechanical tearing physically shreds the fungal networks and worm tunnels that provide the soil's air, water, and housing. When this infrastructure is destroyed, the soil must use its energy to rebuild its physical foundation instead of fueling the growth of the crops. The fourth principle is reciprocity. To keep the soil from becoming exhausted, we must replace what we harvest. In a healthy system, every extraction is balanced by an input. Large-scale operations maintain this balance with livestock. As herds move across a pasture, they process plant material and deposit biology and nutrients into the earth. For the small-scale grower, there is a way to achieve this same biological impact without the need for large animals. It involves a liquid amendment called Jadam Microorganism Solution, or JMS. First, mash a baked potato into a fine mesh bag and steep it in water. Add rich garden soil to introduce the microbial population. Left for 24 hours, the starches trigger a massive microbial explosion. The liquid becomes a concentrated dose of biology adapted to your climate. Applying this brew directly to the garden replicates the biological contribution of a grazing herd. It provides the necessary reciprocity to keep a small-scale system productive and healthy. When these four principles are applied, the physical state of the earth changes. The soil immediately becomes dark, crumbly, and completely filled with the visible activity of earthworms and beneficial fungi. This living soil creates a measurable increase in water-holding capacity. It stops acting like a pile of dust and starts acting like a sponge, retaining moisture and nutrients far longer than degraded ground. Regenerative agriculture is an active, daily partnership with soil biology. It is a shift towards supporting the natural cycles that have maintained the planet for millions of years. Small-scale farmers actually hold a distinct advantage in this work. It is easier to mulch, to plant diversely, and apply biological inoculants to a half-acre plot than to manage a massive industrial operation. Your garden is a complex microbial economy waiting to be activated. It does not require thousands of acres to be a part of a global ecological recovery. Lasting transformation starts when we begin feeding the invisible workforce in our own backyards. All it takes is a commitment to the life beneath the surface.